In the previous episode, Leping and Elizabeth enjoy the fight between Blue Sword and Jayla. However, the red-haired girl Anna is really shocked after seeing that Jayla break Blue Sword B rank weapon with just one punch. Next, on the other side, the yellow-haired man asks one of the big shot elders, Barry from the Sword Saint Guild, if he needs him to stop the fight between Blue Sword and Jayla. His name is Grey Sword Ash, and he is from the Sword Saint Guild. However, Elder Sword Barry from the Sword Saint Guild disagrees, explaining that the two of them are more than enough to handle Jayla, and he asks Elder Burrs what he thinks. Elder Burrs replies that he doesn't know, he will think about it if the situation gets out of hand. He is the Card Guild president and a former member of the Sword Saint Guild, and he is a 4-star demon sect realm. His name is Boss, the old man we saw at the beginning of this manhwa. He received card skills from Leping, became powerful, and created his own guild. Grey Sword thinks that Senior Burrs is indeed someone who deeply hates the Dark Guild. Just hearing about becoming an apostle makes him so angry that he can hardly hold back and even trembles all over. Grey Sword misunderstands everything. Mr. Burrs doesn't tremble in anger because Jayla became the apostle of the Dark Guild, but he trembles in fear. After seeing Leping and Elizabeth, he can't believe his eyes, thinking, how could it be possible? How did those two get here? On the other hand, Leping asks Elizabeth after seeing the fight between Blue Sword and Jayla if they don't meet their expectations. What do you think we should do with them? Elizabeth replies without any second thought, saying if they don't meet their expectations, then they will kill them all without wasting any time. Mr. Burrs, after hearing the conversation between Leping and Elizabeth, gets more shocked, thinking, that must be it. Mr. Leping is here to check whether I have used his card and wheat tea on the right path. In order to live up to Mr. Leping's gift, fortunately, after I mastered the basic abilities, I actively hunted down the evil apostles and devoted myself to maintaining the peace of the heroes' continent. However, can these two of them really take this insignificant achievement seriously? However, Jayla, after becoming an apostle of the Dark Guild, gets really powerful, saying Blue Sword is a little bug in front of him, and he will slap him to death. Blue Sword is really surprised after seeing Jayla's power, and he doesn't have any other choice. He has to use his secret technique, but he is really nervous because he doesn't know if he can control it now. However, he can't doubt himself, he remembers his master's teachings. If you want to enter a state of selflessness, you must abandon distracting thoughts. However, before Blue Sword can execute his technique, Jayla uses his overwhelming strength to attack the ground and starts playing with the ground just like rubber. He uses this to attack Blue Sword, who is really shocked after seeing this. However, before Blue Sword could react, Jayla started attacking him, sending Blue Sword into the air. Jayla planned to capture him with his ground-controlling technique by creating walls around him. Blue Sword, confused and unable to react, found himself captured in a stone cage before he could do anything. Jayla, after capturing Blue Sword, explained that the Giant Bear Guild doesn't just specialize in physical enhancement but also excels in earth magic, comparable to high-level magician guilds. He started laughing at Blue Sword's predicament. Suddenly, Jayla noticed a blue energy emanating from the stone cage, prompting him to quickly retreat. Upon closer inspection, he realized that his hand was already cut off. Confused and trembling in fear, he wondered what had just happened. Blue Sword utilized his magic sword energy to cut the stone cage into tiny pieces, showcasing his power. However, he is still murmuring his teacher's words about not being surprised or confused to reach a state of selflessness. Blue Sword demonstrated exceptional skill. However, Jayla, enraged and disregarding Blue Sword's teachings, only wanted to kill him, declaring that he would kill him today no matter what. Despite the threat, Blue Sword remained undeterred, using his magic sword energy to cut Jayla's right leg. Jayla started crying in pain after Blue Sword's decisive move. After cutting his leg, Blue Sword offered Jayla one last chance to surrender. Jayla, still unwilling to give up, vowed to kill Blue Sword today. Jayla started remembering his master's advice about using gears to enhance strength for the competition and avoiding forbidden drugs unless necessary. He expressed surprise at the powerful skills of the people from the Sword Saint Guild. Should I use the power of forbidden drugs? If I can't bear it, I will suffer backlash. However, Blue Sword points his sword towards to Jayla, saying, while you are conscious, voluntarily give up the power of the Dark Guild, and I can spare your life. But Jayla doesn't want to give up without a fight, so he uses the power of forbidden drugs. He plans to transform into a complete Demon King and kill Blue Sword and all the members of the Sword Saint Guild. However, while still contemplating this, Blue Sword uses his magic sword energy and cuts Jayla's head without any second thought. The masked girl who is still trapped in the cage is thinking, can she really do it? Can she really win this fight? However, she is not confident in herself, contemplating the idea of surrendering. She is Alina, Mr. Boss' daughter. We show them the beginning of the manhwa when Leping's robot dog saves them from the Dark Guild. In the Card Guild, Alina is meditating and training with her card, which she received from Leping. She drinks barley tea and breaks through from a 5-star demon spirit to a 1-star great demon spirit. After the breakthrough, she thinks meditation and entering this space use up a lot of mental power. Fortunately, this magic barley tea helps calm down my thoughts and prevents me from losing myself in that universe of poker. It keeps me in complete harmony. The effects are remarkable. I was able to break through to the great demon spirit realm in a short time despite my mediocre aptitude. While she is still thinking about this, she suddenly hears a door opening sound. The one who is on the is Mr. Boss. He comes back home after completing his work. Alina is really happy after seeing her dad, saying, "Dad, you're finally back." But she is really curious about the meeting between Sword Saint Guild and her dad. She asks what happened with the Sword Saint Guild and if he's okay. Mr. Boss explains, the crisis of the Dark Guild's invasion has been resolved. But the internal issues of the Sword Saint Guild are much more serious than I anticipated. I didn't see the Sword Master personally this time. After hearing this, Alina asks Mr. Boss, so what should they do now? Without the recognition of the Sword Saint Guild, they won't be able to develop this region and recruit members to elevate Mr. Leping's Card Guild. However, Mr. Boss replies, even if I didn't see the Sword Master, I helped them repel the Dark Guild, and I got something unexpected. So, Mr. Boss opens the bag he is carrying and shows them to Alina. After seeing them, Alina instantly recognizes them, saying they are the Dark Gears of Great Apostles. However, she is really surprised after seeing so many of them. She explains that she is now at the Great Demon Spirit level, so she should be able to purify them in one day. But she is really confused and asks Mr. Boss if these are the unexpected gains he's talking about. Mr. Boss says no and shows the invitation card to Alina, explaining that this is what he's talking about. The Sword Saint Guild gave us a direct qualification for the guild competition finals. Alina is really surprised after seeing the guild competition card. Mr. Boss reassures Alina, saying, you don't have to worry. As long as you participate and win, our card guild will be recognized. However, Alina is really nervous after hearing Mr. Boss's words. She explains that she is not good at all. The participants in the past have all been geniuses from many guilds, with strength at least at the Demon Ancestor level. She has just been promoted to the Great Demon Spirit level. She is afraid that not only will she not be able to represent them well, but they will lose face too. It feels like they are deliberately making things difficult for them. However, Mr. Boss doesn't care about this. He says to Alina, it doesn't matter if you win or lose. Having more confidence and determination is the most important thing. We are not the same as before. When the time comes, your father will bring you Mr. Leping's treasure deck, and this level gap will make no difference. In the present, Alina, who is still thinking about her father's words, realizes that her father told her to bring in Mr. Leping's cards. However, with her strength, she can use no more than 6 at a time. The rest of the battle has to be done with replica cards only, which will greatly decrease her attack strength. But, in order to promote Mr. Leping properly, she can't back down. Determination is the most important. After saying this, she gets his cards from his pocket and uses the card slash to free herself from the cage. After that, she slowly starts approaching Blue Sword. However, as she approaches Blue Sword, it is revealed that Galoa is still alive after his head was cut off. Blue Sword gets really impressed after seeing Alina's power, explaining, it was a good strategy to hide your power and only take action at the end. However, he doesn't consider Alina his opponent by any means and asks her to admit defeat now, saying that their guild owes her a favor. He doesn't wish to hurt her, this is his final warning. However, before he completes his words, Alina attacks him with her card skill. After seeing Alina's card skill, the Dark Guild president is really surprised. He asks, what is this weapon? I've never seen a weapon like this. Alina, without wasting any time, slashes his cards and uses the poker flying sword technique to attack Blue Sword. However, Blue Sword figures out Alina's strategy, explaining, she just wants to distract me with this fancy attack. The real goal is to hit me with another move. However, Blue Sword, without wasting any time, jumps towards Alina to attack her. He doesn't want to give Alina any chance for a counterattack. Alina gets really shocked and realizes that Blue Sword already saw through his plan. Luckily, she dodges Blue Sword's attack in the right time. Without wasting any time, she uses her card slash to attack Blue Sword as many times as she can. However, Alina's attacks don't work on Blue Sword. He jumps into the air and attacks Alina. Nevertheless, Alina dodges Blue Sword's attack and counters with her card/skill. Blue Sword uses his Sword Kai to dodge Alina's attack, but Alina uses her card lock to stop Blue Sword from attacking. The audience is really excited after seeing the fight between Blue Sword and Alina. They think the Card Guild's fighting style is quite unique. Blue Sword is surrounded by cards, and they wonder what he will do to resolve this. Alina has already locked Blue Sword's skills with her card lock skill. After seeing this, Blue Sword asks Alina, "Do you consume my Sword Kai with this power?" However, he doesn't care, saying, "It's pointless. If you force me to take this seriously, you have to be ready to be killed." Alina, after hearing this, replies, of course, she knows the card lock can't restrain him for long, but it is enough to buy her time for the card slash to be complete. And she got the most powerful spades, so she releases her cards to prepare a powerful move. In the next moment, the cards transform into a spades dragon. After seeing this, the people watching the fight between Blue Sword and Alina get really shocked and ask, "What's that? She has so many attacks, first a lock and now a summon too." One of them says, "This is worth recording and investigating." The Dark Guild president is really surprised after seeing Leping's card's power, thinking, through different combinations, many fighting methods are being displayed. Which masterful craftsman made these cards? Leping gets really surprised after seeing that people in this world also know how to play cards. He asks Elizabeth to look, and they are playing cards. It turns out that people outside also know how to play cards and can use them to fight. Meanwhile, Alina uses his Spades Dragon skill and attacks Blue Sword. After seeing this powerful move, Blue Sword uses his maximum output of sword energy to create a big blue bird and uses it to counter-attack Alina's Spades Dragon. Blue Sword's attack with the blue bird is powerful, destroying Alina's Spades Dragon without any problem and causing some harm to Alina. Luckily, Alina creates a shield with her cards on time and barely defends herself. She thinks Blue Sword is really strong, and as a 3-star demon spirit, it is still difficult for her to make up for the gap in level using only replica cards. To win, she must use treasure cards, but she is nervous about using them because if she can't control the power well, she might end up harming him. Blue Sword is really impressed with Alina because she is forcing him to use his full power. He jumps into the air to attack Alina. However, Alina creates a shield with her cards to defend herself. Unfortunately, it is not enough to stop Blue Sword's attack, and he sends Alina flying across to another corner. Blue Sword approaches Alina, saying it's over and she lost. Alina admits defeat, thinking, forget it, there's no need to continue, just fighting to this level is enough. Suddenly, something hits Blue Sword on the head from behind. Blue Sword, looking in pain, doesn't know what just happened and wonders, what's this? His eyes start changing. Alina also gets shocked after seeing this. The one who attacked Blue Sword is Jayla's head. He is controlling Blue Sword's body. However, he is not Jayla, he is a great apostle who was in Jayla's body. After Jayla's death, he finally hatched. After that, he wants to control Blue Sword's body as he really likes Blue Sword's body. He can use the sword energy in this body. Gob the Goblin explains to the audience about the current situation, saying Jayla's head suddenly jumped up and took control of King's body. The scene seemed a bit out of control. The Great Apostle starts attacking the audience, but shield barriers are protecting everyone. However, people start to run as the protective shield is about to burst. Everyone is really shocked after seeing that the guy from the Sword Saint Guild had turned into an apostle. Red-haired girl Anna is also shocked after seeing that Blue Sword turned into a Dark Guild apostle. Yellow-haired girl asks Sister Anna what they should do now. The man who is smoking is also really surprised by this unexpected show. Leping is also really surprised. This isn't what they expected. He asks Elizabeth if they are going to step in and help. Elizabeth replies saying no, explaining that if Leping wants to rule the world, he must learn to adapt to such small scenes of temporary changes. Otherwise, how will he be able to manage such a big world in the future? Elizabeth asks Leping to just wait and see what happens first. Leping doesn't say anything and agrees with Elizabeth. Mr. Boss, who is thinking, realizes that both Elizabeth and Leping knew about the Apostles' invasion. They plan to see if Alina and he could settle this matter properly. He prays that Alina must perform well and satisfy Mr. Leping and Demon Queen Elizabeth. Meanwhile, the Sword Saint Guild president is thinking that Mr. Boss is getting anxious. If he steps in to save his daughter, it proves that his guild is not strong enough to deal with the Dark Guild. Now the Sword Saint Guild is recruiting new people, and he wants Mr. Boss to come back and become the new elder in Sword Saint Guild. The Great Apostle really likes Blue Sword's body, saying it's great. He is very satisfied with this body. Alina is really surprised after seeing the Dark Guild. The great apostle is laughing at Alina, asking what the little bastard wants to do. Alina gets his treasure card, saying if the opponent is the Dark Guild, then she doesn't need to worry so much. Alina's body starts glowing, a huge amount of magic energy surrounding her. The great apostle gets really scared after seeing the unknown power coming from Alina, thinking it's better to kill her immediately. He uses Blue Sword's sword energy and attacks Alina, however, Alina stops his attack. She uses her card skill and creates a sacred guardian to protect her. Leping gets really surprised after seeing Alina's face, thinking, why does this feel familiar? Meanwhile, Dwarf Guild President is really shocked after seeing Alina's card power, thinking, what's this? Compared to the cards just now, these feel even more incredible. The man with one eyeglasses is also really shocked. He has never seen an attack like this, thinking, this summoned phantom. If I remember correctly, is this the 13 holy warriors that is recorded in the books? Is it real? Sword Saint Guild President asks Mr. Boss if this is the trick he used to defeat the 6 pillar demons. Mr. Boss replies that he used a 9-card formation before, and his daughter is using only a 5-card formation. The attacks are the same but different in magical power. However, Mr. Boss hopes that it is enough to defeat the Dark Guild Apostle. Alina throws her card toward the Great Apostle, asking him to leave Blue Sword's body. Unfortunately, the Great Apostle dodges Alina's attack without any problem. However, he gets really scared after seeing the power of these cards, thinking, how come these ordinary cards have so much power? He is really impressed with Alina's power, but he doesn't want to lose his life. So, he jumps into the air, saying to Alina, you're amazing. I will come back to you after I get to know this body. I will be running away for now. Unfortunately, Alina uses her card and summons her shield guardian, commanding it to stop the Great Apostle. Then, she throws the Great Apostle to another shield guardian, and the guardians play with the Great Apostle like volleyball. The Great Apostle is really confused, not knowing what is going on, thinking he was just born and can't die here. So, he uses his strongest move, Fierce Sword. However, before he can attack Alina, she uses her guardian and traps the Great Apostle into a box. The Great Apostle is really confused after seeing this, so he tries to cut the box with his Fierce Sword. However, before he can use his skill, Alina uses her Holy Array, commanding her guardian to crush the Great Apostle. After that, the box starts getting smaller and smaller. The Great Apostle asks Alina to show some mercy. There is no need to do this. He doesn't want to die. However, Alina doesn't listen. She crushes the Great Apostle and turns him into a purple ring, saving Blue Sword. After that, she takes a sigh of relief. However, she was a little careless with this move, but luckily she defeats the Great Apostle who is more powerful than her. Meanwhile, Blue Sword doesn't look good, and Alina gives him a really good beating. Mr. Boss, after seeing this fight, thinks Leping and Elizabeth should be satisfied with this now, right? Leping is really surprised after seeing that the masked girl is Alina. He says to Elizabeth, it turns out to be Alina, no wonder she looks familiar. He asks Elizabeth if she still remembers them, the father and daughter who came to live with them a few months ago. However, Elizabeth is not looking happy. She turns her head toward Mr. Boss, saying, who told them to reveal themselves like this? Mr. Boss, after finding out that Demon Queen Elizabeth has discovered him, starts shaking in fear. He stands up from his seat and bows down toward Elizabeth and Leping, saying, you two are here, but I didn't wish to ruin your viewing experience, so I didn't disturb you. Forgive me. But suddenly, Leping also finds out about Mr. Boss. He waves his hand toward Mr. Boss, saying, Uncle Boss, as expected, you are here too. I just said I realized Alina was the one fighting. I have a lot of questions to ask you. Mr. Boss, after hearing Leping's words, thinks if Leping is dissatisfied with their card fighting skills. Meanwhile, Sword Saint Guild President, after seeing Mr. Boss like this, thinks, who is that person Boss respects so much?